Hey there guys, welcome back. We'll go ahead and call it my channel. My name's Casey. I want to take a little bit of time out today. I've done a couple of videos on my van and how I made my camping setup for the van, low cost, hardly any cost camping setup to turn your minivan, in this case a 2013 Toyota Sienna all-wheel drive minivan, into a nice little micro camper. Today I want to kind of continue the video and show you what the van looked like after I had the camping set up, fully configured, and what it looked like this past summer when me and my girlfriend took a trip out west from Ohio, took it out to Colorado and Utah for I think we were about a week and a half camping trip. But before I do, I want to show you what it looked like, when it was finished. This is essentially what I had here. You see, the wooden platform that I had. But I do want to mention one thing about this platform. One of the cool things I like about this, sun's kind of brutal right now. I wanted to get this done earlier in the morning, but didn't get it done. So the sun may wreak a little havoc on this video. But one of the things I really, really like about the minivan is the versatility. So everybody knows what a minivan looks like when you first get one. Most of them have 8 seats, and really, like, I don't know, it's hard to beat for an everyday driver. And people hauler, you just can't beat a minivan. You get rid of the stigma. Oh, I don't want to drive a minivan, but, like, I don't know, I'm well past that point. Um, but in the setup that I have now with a wooden camping platform and no mattress, no bedding, um, man, this thing is so versatile. I use it all summer. You saw on this channel and a couple of my other videos, you see, like, I have a little sawmill and I'm doing a cabin building project, and you see a bunch of logs stacked up here, but that's not really the point. I guess the point is, like, this space here, man, like, all summer long, I was able to keep my chainsaw, um, my pulley, my straps, um, in the back of the van, so I didn't have to switch back and forth, taking things out, um, just to do whatever I need to do. So anyway, this wooden platform allowed me basically to keep all my tools and everything in here. Didn't care if I got dirty, or didn't care if the van got messed up and dirty, that kind of thing. This is what it's designed for, to be that work slash camping utility vehicle that I use for a lot of different purposes. But I did want to mention that, for anybody that's maybe, if you're on a budget like me and you need a vehicle that can do a lot of things, just want to point out the virtues of a minivan, because I was able to, get all the projects, I needed, using this as my primary work vehicle. Didn't need a truck to do anything because the minivan took care of everything. But anyway, I wanted to mention that before I go ahead and get into this video. But what I'm going to do now is, and I'm not going to video this, I'll show you the end result, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back into camping mode. Hopefully within a week or two, we're going to be able to take a couple more camping trips. Best time of year, man. It's, what is today? October something, 8th, 9th, I can't remember. But it is my favorite time of year, the fall camping season, just the fall season in general. When the temperatures start cooling down, especially in the evenings, man, it's just amazing. I think next week here in Southern Ohio, our daytime temperatures are supposed to be high 60s, maybe low 70s, but high 60s with crystal clear blue skies, and the nights will probably get down into the mid to low 40s, and man, that's really hard to beat for being outside. But anyway, I'll go ahead and put this in camping setup, and then I want to do a review of what it looks like, and when it's in full camping mode. Before I put the mattress in, I will show you this though. Showed you this in my last video. Have this storage area underneath, and I'll try to do this one-handed since I'm holding the camera right now. So let me get the prop set up. All right, so that's pretty simple. So I just use, obviously just a little stick of wood. This is why I used hinges to connect this back piece. You can see the hinges down here. There you go. So I use the hinges so I can make this little piece here like a folding trunk. And of course, as I mentioned in the build video, I've got these crates. And all I do is I just fill them up with all the stuff that you need for camping. I'm not going to detail everything I take, but just a couple things. Of course, camp shovel, some old towels. You always need old towels. Um, Fire extinguisher. I keep or fix a flat down here. That portable fire extinguisher right there. Um, but anyway, yeah, just paper plates, all the odds and ends you need when you're camping. I got my Coleman cook stove down here, my propane tank. So what I do is I just wrap them in cardboard so they don't rattle around. I've got my portable toilet. But anyway, this space here is perfect because a lot of this stuff, a lot of this stuff you don't need all the time or even most of the time, really. So you can have your mattress and camping setup ready to go, which is really convenient because like last year when we drove from Ohio to Utah, it took about 2.5 days to get all the way to Utah. Well, let's say basically 2 days to get to Colorado, southwestern Colorado, where I like to go. And along the way, if you get tired, man, you can just pull into a rest area. Your bed's already set up, um, and you take you a power nap, or you can just sleep for the evening. And then when you're done, you just wake up and hit the road again. So it does save a lot of money, and it's very convenient when you're traveling to have this kind of setup. So anyway, let me take a little pause here, and I'll go ahead and put it in camping mode, then I'll explain a little more. All right, so I've got the van set up in camping mode, so go ahead and do a walk around. Show you, I don't know if I'll remember everything, but I'll show you some of the features of my setup. So first of all, kind of starts here in the driver's cockpit. So like, when you're traveling down the road, man, you it's just a normal driving experience. Like, no cumbersome um, camper or trailer that I have to pull. I'm not knocking those things. It's basically well, one of the cool things about camping outdoor life is that you get to choose whatever kind of setup you like, whatever kind of setup you feel comfortable with. So not trying to judge anybody or anything for, if they have a bigger setup or quote unquote nicer setup, more power to you. Enjoy camping and traveling, whatever manner you want to. This is just kind of what works for me. But anyway, in normal driving, it's just like, driving your regular car. So if you're traveling a long distance, driving a minivan, and this one even fully loaded out, all-wheel drive with a little bit of lift on it, still get, over 20 miles per gallon. And that's in contrast to the 4Runner and Sequoias that I've camped with in the past and traveled. Um, Typically on the highway, loaded down. Um, I'm lucky if I get 12 miles per gallon. So there's quite a bit of difference driving a minivan. And that maybe doesn't sound like much, 8, 9 extra miles per gallon. But if you're driving, in my case, from Ohio out west and back, it could be easily be, 4 to 5,000 miles. So, all that adds up for sure. Then let alone, like if you're pulling into a gas station or, a parking lot to, get supplies or whatever. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the camping setup. So first of all, from the outside, it's just a normal minivan. I will show you this. I have a lightweight aluminum hitch carrier. This is from, I think I got it from Harbor Freight. Had it for probably 7 or 8 years. It was less than $100 when I bought it. You notice, on the outside, I've got some reflectics in the window, and I cut those to fit. And I like that. When I'm traveling, I'll leave them in all the time because it reduces a lot of heat going down the road, especially when you get out west in the summertime. The heat and the sun can be pretty intense, so that helps. So notice this screen. It's nothing more than a screen that I bought from probably Lowe's or somewhere, made for like a screen door or something. But what I do is I just have some pretty good magnets, and I'll magnetize it to the door frame. But also I loop it over on the inside, and I can crack my window. I've got some vent shields so rain's not going to get in. Um, then to make it a little bit tighter fit, I'll show you. I can do this with one hand, but I'll just kind of, reach in with my offhand, behind the door frame and hold the screen. And then when I shut it, nice tight fit. Well, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good feature, really cheap and expensive because you can leave. Well, this van actually has the sliding doors actually will roll down as well. So I could do the same thing here. It's kind of prefer to do on the front driver and passenger window. Keeps the bugs out, lets some cool air in, which makes a big difference when you're traveling. I'll go ahead and leave that open. Another good feature about the Reflectix is, if you're inside, say if you're, I don't know if you'd happen to be in a campground or if you're in a rest area, it definitely, darkens it up a little bit. And I've got the rear window tinted with limo tint, so it makes a nice, cool, dark environment. The Reflectix, it's not mounted. I don't stick it in there. I just I use newspaper to create a template. Then I simply cut it out. And then the Sienna has these shade screens, and lo and behold, they work really well to hold the Reflectix in. There's one on all four windows. And the back Reflectix, simply cut this little tab that I can use because the Sienna has vent windows. You can pop the rear two windows out and you can let some ventilation in as well. For lighting, pretty sophisticated. I have these 99-cent puck lights, and they've got mounting adhesive on them. I'm getting those in the right direction. Then I just use some tape as well, and pretty easy. It's a really sophisticated lighting system. Again, I think I mentioned this a little while ago. Got a couple of fire extinguishers on each side. This is not a candle. This is just a little, candle. It's pretty cool for relaxing time in the evening. If you're in the van and you're not ready to go to sleep, you just want to kind of chill out a little bit. Got some headlamps. I'm like addicted to flashlights, so I've got headlamps. I stow those everywhere. Those are pretty cool. So if you have to get up in the middle of the night, you just grab one and off you go. Or if you need a brighter light, you can turn that on real quick. Go ahead and get back out quick. So I like sleeping with my head in the back and my feet closer to the front, because then when you open the door, it's easy just to sit right in. Well, there's my dog. I'll go ahead and cover this real quick. The Sequoia I had a lift on it as well. The sun's probably wreaking havoc on this. But my dog is developing a little bit of arthritis. She's only 6 years old, but she could get in the Sequoia no problem. Not as much room jumping in the door for sure. The problem was when she jumped out. It's a pretty good jump, and you could hear her kind of grimace when she had to jump out from a higher. Even a few inches makes a big difference. So one of the good things about the minivan is that it's easier for her to get in and out of. She can jump up to this, get in no problem, and then she can kind of walk her way down, and it's a lot less painful on my baby. So you can see here, I didn't put all the bedding and sheets that I would normally carry. Just kind of show you. Now I'm about 6'2", and so I can put my head up front, or in the back in this case, and completely stretch out to the back with zero issues. If you're a little bit taller, you could just sleep in a little bit of angle, no problem. But for this setup, I just have 3-inch memory foam I got off Amazon, and I will tell you I didn't set it up, but I've got a camping air pad that I'll inflate and put underneath that. And honestly, with the air pad and the memory foam in place, and then show you what I got here, this extra thick comforter I'll put down. It's pretty comfortable. It's not, I could go ahead and buy an actual full-size mattress and stick it in here. Probably have to trim it a little bit, but it would fit. And would be, even more comfortable, which is a pretty good setup. But I like this setup because I showed you the storage I had earlier. Um, and the good thing about this is that it's still really, really easy to lift up. I do want to put some gas struts on that, so makes it even easier to pull up, but get to that in a little bit. Another good thing about minivan, storage cubbies everywhere, so you can put your sun hat, bugs repellent, knives, just so much storage in minivans. Even in the door pockets of the sliding doors, there's storage. So in the back there, you've got pointing to it. How ridiculous is that? You've got storage areas there in the back. Um, so if you when you're camping, if you want or need a little protection, it's a good place to store firearm or knife, whatever you need. Bear spray. I'd keep bear spray handy. Um, every time I go out west, I pack some bear spray for sure. Um, so that's the basic camping setup, and that is like the build that I put together. Really, really low cost. Probably if I added up all the money, well, hey, you've got pillows and bedding, old bedspreads or something you can throw in when you're camping. The memory foam, I think it was probably $79 on Amazon, so not a lot of expense associated with that. So you subtract the cost of your vehicle, and I guess there'd be a lot of variations with that, depending on the age and the amount of miles on your vehicle. This van I have is a 2013, so it's a little over 10 years old. I had it for almost 2 years now, I guess, and I think I paid right around $10,000 for it when I bought it. And then, additionally, like the build out and that kind of stuff, man, I probably only have $200 or $300 in it. And then you're ready to go camping. Like you don't really have to modify it. Like the seats, you just kind of, you know, uh, the captain's chairs that would go right here. I didn't even take the mechanism out. Just kind of popped the seats out, and I unbolted the rear seats to get that extra storage in the back. And after that, you've got a pretty inexpensive camper. We'll show you a couple more things that I've added to so that I can camp on the road a little bit longer. Of course, like most people, when I started out, I just used the cooler ice chest, and that works fine. There's no issues with it. We'll say, when you travel out west, if you're in Utah, Arizona, Colorado, in the summertime, ice is only going to last about a day, regardless of how good your cooler is. The more expensive Yeti coolers and things like that, they're fantastic. They're heavier. You don't get as much storage in them, and they will last a really long time full of ice if you don't open them and use them. But I found I've got not a Yeti, but it's an Orca equivalent, and I bought it one year in Moab because it was like 110 degrees. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make that purchase, and I'll be good to go for ice for 3 or 4 days, whatever they advertise. But it wasn't any better. Had it all packed up, ready to go, and by the next, in about 24 hours, the ice was gone. The water was still cold, no problems, but it didn't hold ice. So I did end up buying a refrigerator. I'll show you it. Let me walk around to the other side here. This the cargo carrier is handy because I'll put some extra things that I don't want in the main cabin back here, and I do that because when you're traveling, if you just want to jump in the back for a quick nap, you don't have to move a lot of stuff around. You can keep it back here. Um, and when I'm traveling with my girlfriend, we had more stuff, obviously, so this really came in handy. If I was traveling by myself, I would just put all my stuff on one side, and then you've got the one side to lay down and sleep in. But show you this refrigerator. I always say I'm a huge fan of this refrigerator, and compared to an ice chest or a cooler, this is a no-brainer. And it's unfortunately made in China, like everything else we buy. And I couldn't even tell you what brand it is. Watching um, Bob Wells's channel. Big fan of Bob and all the lessons that he's taught over the years about living in your van or camping. And he had it listed as um, a really inexpensive cooler that works well, and I've had this one for about 4 years now. Now, admittedly, I don't use it all the time. I just use it when I'm camping. Um, and it's not a massive storage, doesn't have a ton of storage, but believe it or not, like it lasts quite a long time. Like you can fill it up with water, pop, road snacks, that kind of thing. Um, and it doesn't look like a lot of space, but you really can get a lot of stuff in there. Definitely enough to last, 3 or 4 days, no problem. Um, this particular one, you can turn it to a freezer, or you can turn it to just refrigerator. But this one doesn't have dual zones; it's just one. And I found that's all I needed. So what I'll do is before I actually take off. Again, I apologize if the sun is kind of blurring some of this out. But what I'll do before I take off is I'll go ahead and pack up the cooler, and then I'll plug it in um, at the house here and let it get really cold. And when I actually take off, then I go ahead and plug it into my solar generator, the battery pack. Now, I would like to go into more detail on these, but I'm not going to do it on this video. If anybody has any questions about these, I'd be more than happy to answer them. I've got a total of 4 of these now, different sizes. I've got a really small Jackery, and I've got this one, which is a Explorer 1000. I've got a smaller Blue Eddy, and I've got the bigger Blue Eddy. Now, I went with the portable battery packs because where I live here in Southern Ohio, not like I don't live incredibly remotely. It's about 20 miles from town. The biggest or the nearest actual city is about 20 miles away. Hilly area, lots of trees along the winding third and fourth level roads. But I say that because power goes out quite a bit. I would say an average year, I probably lose power um, anywhere from 12 to maybe 15 times a year. Sometimes it's, for an hour or so. Worst case scenario, I've had power out for, a couple weeks. But most of the time it's on the shorter end of that. And I've got a couple of generators that I can plug in. But I find that these are, I like using these better because normally all I'm running is maybe the internet router, the Wi-Fi, and some lights. So instead of firing up the generator, I'll just use these. Now, I went with these instead of kind of a hard mount, more complex solar powered system for that reason. And I can take these in and out, no problem. I also don't have to worry about like if I left the batteries in here all the time. I know they're safer now than they used to be, but I'm still a little paranoid about having lithium batteries in the van all the time. Just don't want them catching fire. So probably would never happen. I honestly haven't heard much about these catching on fire, not like some of the Tesla cars and that kind of thing. But I am worried about them. Also, um, when I'm not camping or not traveling, I can just put these in the garage or in the house, and don't have to worry about them getting stolen. Um, I will say one thing: these can be kind of expensive. So if I was looking at the AC 180 Blue Eddy, which it's a 180, it has 1800 watts to start, but 1152 watt hours. This refrigerator, when it's running, it usually pulls, it'll tell you, I don't have it turned on right now, it's just kind of mocked up, but it's typically pulling 30 to 40 watts when it's actually producing refrigeration. And then when it stops producing refrigeration, of course, it's not drawing anything. But 30 watts, say 30 watts of draw with 1152 on tap means, this would last about 3 days running this refrigerator with no extra input. I do have, you saw and if you happen to watch my previous video, I showed the solar system that I have on top. I've got two 100-watt solar panels on top, and I've got the cords routed. I'm not going to recover that, but I've got the cords routed right here, and so I can plug it into solar, which effectively means, especially in the summertime going out west, that typically, in the day you're going to be drawing some wattage, and it's enough that, I can let this run continuously and really don't even have to worry about it at all. I will say one thing about that. I've got two 100-watt panels on top. If I had to do it again, I would probably mount, let's see, show you up top here. I've got two 100-watt panels mounted up there. I would probably mount one bigger 2 or 250-watt panel here, then mount a 100-watt panel here. Because if you don't have, let's say if this runs low, if you drain it and you need to replenish it and you're not driving, 100-watt solar panel is actually, on the best of occasions, only going to give you about 67 watts. So it takes a long time. I did end up, after this summer, I bought this splitter so I can connect both solar panels into a single input, and that made a significant change. So that tells me that if I had one 200-watt panel, if I had one 200-watt panel, it would really be more efficient. And then if I had the third panel, I could connect it into this one. Now for this one, I have this little DC fan that I run, and this is all I do. It's not a sophisticated setup at all. I just set it here, plug it into this jackery, and you've got some pretty good air ventilation. I've got it set here because, like I mentioned, with the screen on the front windows, this will actually pull a little bit of that cool air in, and found so far that I've never needed air conditioning. In fact, I haven't even wanted for it, to be honest with you. When you're sleeping in the evening, out west in the desert or the mountains, almost always you're going to have some really nice cool evenings. And so I haven't really needed air conditioning, to be honest with you. Also have this smaller portable fan. Mentioned I've got puck lights. I got those everywhere. On top, I've got this netting, again, real cheap. You can put your night clothes or slippers or whatever you need. This has a DVD player in, and it doesn't work, and I wouldn't use it if I was camping anyway. One other thing I do, so if you're back here, you got the reflectix on the windows, got the limo tent on the back, so it's really, really private. I'll take an extra sheet or even a jacket and just drape it over from headrest to headrest, and kind of blocks the view if there were somebody or something trying to peek in the front window. They're not going to be able to see in. I don't really worry too much about that when I'm camping. Not saying it doesn't happen, saying it's not something I typically worry about. Oh, I almost lost my train of thought. If you look on Jackery webpage or the Blue Eddy webpage, I know there are a lot of other companies out here that sell these, and it would not surprise me in the least if one or two companies makes all of them and then simply rebrands them through smaller companies. But if you just the normal buying time, these are pricey. This one's probably close to $1,000. This one's probably $800 to $1,000. I did not pay that much for them. Nowhere close to it. 3 or 4 times a year, it's been my experience that they cut the price in half, and they run them on Amazon, and you can get them pretty cheap. So this, I'll say it's about $1,000 unit, and I think I paid probably about $450 for it, which is still not cheap, but considering assuming there's no malfunctions with it, it should last me 15 to 20 years because I'm not cycling the battery, all the time. I'm not living in the van, so it's going to last me a really, really long time. I don't have to pack a generator around. I've still got power to run my refrigerator, I can run my fan, I can run lights, I can charge my phone, my iPad. Um, so anyway, I think it's a good investment. And then also, like I mentioned, if I need to take it in the house to run electric lights when the power goes off, because it will go off a lot, I can just pick it up and pull it in. if I had a dedicated permanent mount system, then I could still use it, I suppose. I have to pull the van close to the house, and I could just run extension cords. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But in a small van like this, a minivan, there's not a lot of extra room to put a dedicated system in and have room enough for a couple of people. It would just take up too much space, so I opted not to do that. The first Jackery that I bought is actually a smaller one. I think it's about 250 watts maybe. And when I bought it, it came with this portable 100 watt solar panel, which I found that it's pretty handy, to be honest with you, because I'd never used anything solar powered like this before I started building out the camping setup that I have. And it's not hidden knowledge. If you research solar panels at all, they got to have direct sunlight to achieve max efficiency. And the solar panels on top of the roof, unless it's right in the middle of the day, you're not going to get direct sunlight. If you're if you got your camping setup in place, having this set up and it's on an angle, you can really get some pretty efficient wattage out of it. So I bought my first portable power station. I bought it as a kit. It was on sale. The solar panel and the Jackery, I think it was about $300. And I've used it for quite a few years now, and it hasn't degraded at all. So do I recommend them? Yes, I absolutely recommend these. But to each his own. You can kind of build out your camping setup the way you want. What else? Okay, one last thing. Again, in a camping setup, going to the bathroom. This I would pop it out. I'm not sponsored by any of this stuff at all, so I'm not trying to promote any brand or anything, including the power stations or refrigerator. Just a dude. This is a portable shelter. You can pop up if you need to change, or but what I do is I put my toilet bucket in it, and then this will pop up, and you can weight it down with rocks. It actually has guide wires, kind of like a tent with a. No, it doesn't have wires. It has little tabs on the bottom of it, and then you can stake it down. Um, I don't care where you're camping. If you've got something that can blow away, the wind will pick up and it will try to blow it away. So you do have to kind of stake these down once you set them up. It takes literally 10 seconds to pop it up. It's what would I call that? It's self-standing. It's got those tension rods in it, and fiberglass tension rods. So once you open it up, it sets up instantly. Um, the bucket, it's a 5-gallon bucket. There's nothing special about it other than the fact that it says Ohio State on it. Got it at Lowe's. I think it was $5. The camping, get it in the shade here, probably show up a little better. The plastic toilet, most of you probably have seen these. It's just pressure fits on top of it. You can pop it off easy. So what I do is when I'm getting ready to camp, I get a roll of small kitchen bags, scented, and then I also carry, I'm not going to pull this out, it's kitty litter. That's all it is. So when I'm ready to camp, I'll put a bag, take this off, put the bag in it, pour some kitty litter in the bottom, and then you've got your bathroom. Then when you're finished camping, you simply pull that bag up. I double bag it, sometimes triple bag it, and dispose of it whenever I get the chance. So it works out really, really well. No issues there. This is something that I did put on the hitch, the hitch carrier on the back, and simply bungee strapped it down, along with another older cooler that I use to put some extra food and water and that kind of stuff in. Trying to think of anything else I could talk about right now in this video. It's probably getting a little bit long, so I'll go ahead and end this one now. So you can see I got to admit, like I still think about, getting a bigger van. I'm getting ready to retire. It's my last year as a teacher, then I'm going to be retiring. So I want to spend as much time as I can camping, exploring America, Canada, back down into Mexico where I used to live. And I think the minivan is the best route to go. Although I do think about getting a bigger van and that kind of thing. But to be honest with you, I don't think I'll be gaining a lot. Spending more money for a little bit more space. Just the way I feel now, and that may change in the future. I think it's better to be more efficient with what you pack and take with you rather than taking or having something bigger so you can have more stuff. That may change in the future, who knows? But right now, that's kind of the way I feel. Also, the minivan, again, like I said, it's something you can use every day, and then you can swap out the camping setup. Like where I started this video to put this stuff back in, it was about 45 minutes. So it literally takes very, very little time and you're ready to go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, got something out of it. If you have any tips for me, last video I made, I had a couple people sent me some tips in the comments, and I truly, truly appreciated it because this is a practice. There's always something you can learn. So I love it when people tell me, hey, this is what I do, because it gives me some more ideas for sure. But anyway, my name's Casey. Thanks for watching my channel. If you got something out of it, hit like, consider subscribing, and I'll keep putting more videos on. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you later. So bye. Hey guys, back for one more quick tip I forgot to tell you. Um, in this particular setup, or whatever setup you end up coming up with, if you use a portable refrigerator, be careful to pay attention to where it's vented. It will have a cooling fan on it, and it needs to be unobstructed. So depending on where you're at or what you're doing, let's say like if we're actually traveling, I can simply prop it up like this, pull this back to give it plenty of air. Or when we actually get where we're going, we'll just kind of pull the seat up and then scoot this back a little bit to give it more room to breathe so it doesn't overheat. I don't think there's a lot of risk of it catching on fire, but it might burn the motor up if it got too hot. So just wanted to throw that out there. So thanks again. Bye.